Welcome back to the channel, guys and gals. My name is Norman, also known as King Julian. So the last video that y'all got to see was from the Grapevine, Texas train show today, in fact. And um, it was actually, it was good, okay? Um, I do have my own personal review about that. Excuse me while I get my jacket off. I really do. I got my own review about that. So, okay, that's not going to work. Get off there. Excuse me real quick while I'm moving something around here while I get the camera resituated. All right. So where do we start at? Well, I'm really in a situation where it was enjoyable, okay? It's something I haven't done in 7 years, basically since Dad passed. Um, it was actually very, very enjoyable having both my boys, Rogue and Silas, with me, and we had a lot of fun. Silas and I didn't buy anything. Of course, I couldn't find what I was looking for because I was looking for some parts for the diesel tender and one part for his G scale. And so we lucked out all the way through it, which no big deal. Rogue made out like a bandit. He wound up with this whistle tender for free from Trainworks, which they were out there, which was good to see them again. And then he got a Jeep 9 HO locomotive and two ore cars for under $20. So I guess you could say the $20 challenge kind of worked for him. But as far as everything else, the show was good for what it was, but there was also disappointment there. And the reason why I say that is the venue was very small. Um, it was not a train show that I'm used to being at. In fact, it was actually kind of too small. You could have gone through it in less than 20 minutes. Um, it was just really small, really cramped, really packed. There was not a whole lot of club layouts there. I think there was maybe a total of three, maybe four there. A lot of vendors selling, which was really cool. A lot of N scale, HO, and O gauge was there. Of course, it was put on by the Texas High Railers, so that does make sense, being mostly those ones. But I was kind of disappointed in seeing the lack of G scale that was there and the lack of like diversity. It was very, very, very off. And of course, people were just asking ridiculous prices for stuff, and I was just like, "What? No!" And I was very shocked at what I was seeing. You know, one of the video y'all got to see was a scale steam turbine, um, and I was like, the price he was asking was $1,089. I even tried to bring the guy down on it, and he was not going to budge. I do have his business card, um, and I just could not believe what he was asking. I was just like, dude, you're way off. Uh, you're buying and selling is what you're doing. Uh, then he found another gentleman there that actually had a Pennsylvania T1 in O scale, the full scale T1, and his price was actually pretty decent. He wanted 765 on it, and that was right around the ballpark of what it needed to be at. Um, there was another vendor there that had a Duluth and Iron Range articulate there, which I love that locomotive. A lot of people say, "Oh, big boy," but I'm sorry, Duluth and Iron Range had the power on it, and he had it listed for 600. And the man that owned it, that he was selling it for, bought it, just never ran it. So it was still brand new in the box, and he was probably spot on. There were people selling vintage Lionel stuff there and marking them up more than what they were worth. Some people were very honest and they're like, hey, $5 a gondola or whatever, um, and they were decent about their prices. But most of the vendors were asking astronomical prices, prices that are higher, even higher than eBay. So I mean, that kind of gives you a general idea of what they were doing. And for the train show being as it was, it just it was ridiculous. Um, Small venue, high prices, even the food court area, they jacked the prices up. No ATM there at the facility at all, and that was another one that was kicking a lot of people in the butt because they're like, "Well, we take Venmo or whatever that is, Zelle." It's like, okay, well, what if your bank don't support that? Uh, I mean, I've got Cash App. Don't get me wrong. I've used that for a long time. Um, the Venmo, I do not. My bank does not support it, nor do they support Zelle due to a hack several years ago, and they just went ahead and said, "Nope, done." Um, they just Texans credit union just won't support them anymore. And that's kind of unfortunate because it was like a lot of these vendors and some of these individuals were selling stuff and they were losing money on it. So that was really a shame to see that. Um, I mean, we walked around, we had a good time, and it was a good family outing. I'll give it that. But it was not something I would go back to for tomorrow. Um, it's not Fort Worth. Fort Worth was at one time the biggest in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Fort Worth, Texas was a great, great train show. Plano started out as being a great train show. Of course, I haven't been there in 7 years. I understand now. Instead of doing one in Fort Worth and then one in Plano, you had the holiday show, which used to be held in Fort Worth, which is the holiday train show. And then you had the January train show in uh, Plano. And now it's Plano, Plano. And so I guess some of these smaller ones are there. I definitely want to check into like some of the ones out towards Texarkana, Shreveport, Bossier area. Just kind of start looking out and looking around to some different areas because today was an hour and a half drive one way, and then an hour and a half back, and it was worth it as family time and having time with my boys. That was great. We all enjoyed it. The boys enjoyed it. It was something we hadn't done again in 7 years. So it was very enjoyable, but just the overall experience of it just was not worth it as far as on a seller or buyer standpoint. Um, any guy that's been in the train industry for as long as I have, train shows are like okay, this is what you're expecting, and then you get in there, you're like, what? Where is everything? Where is everybody? East Texas Motor Railroaders Club didn't show up. My father's train club, the Garden Railway Consortium, didn't show up because there just was not room for it there, and that's just a shame that it was held in such a small venue. And even Trainworks, the guy was very upset and very disappointed with them as well. Um, and they couldn't even put up their full size layout. So, yes, I can understand the discontent there. However, on the flip side of that one, I did see some of the O gaugers out there and O scalers that were messing with the Lionel Fast Track a lot more. Fast Track's not, I mean, I like it. It's a good system. It's just too noisy. It's something you got to work with to figure out how you could quieten it down. Um, and the Trainworks guy and I got to talking about it, and he was like, when I explained to him what I was thinking about doing, he goes, "Yeah, that would actually quieten it down a lot, and probably make it acceptable." So that might be something that he and I could work with in the future. Um, but we were just really shocked with how bad the venue was, and there were a lot of people up there actually complaining about that, and a lot of sellers complaining about it. So that is my review on the Grapevine, Texas train show. Again, I did not find anything I was looking for as far as parts wise to finish up the diesel tender number two. And again, that goes back to something I said once before. If I don't find it, hey, guess what? Uh, I can always, order the parts later. Couple of days, few days, whatever, is not going to hurt this model at all. Did make contact with a gentleman by the name, well, his train shop is Sergeant Schultz Train Repairs. Yes, last name Schultz. And yes, I did pull a Hogan's Hero on him. And I looked down and went, I know nothing. He goes, not funny, as he was laughing about it. But, so yes, I do have his business card, and he is all for working with me to help get the parts. Yeah, he told me to give him a call. He actually has parts for my ZW. As you know, I've got a broken handle on my ZW, and he actually has the parts for it for about $10. So that'll be something I'll be ordering from him. And then we have, just little stuff here and there. Brad's Trains was out there. They had a pretty good setup going. That was really nice. But Brad's Trains is all nothing but N-scale and HO. Not my thing. That's my son's thing. Uh, you know, so we'll just see what happens on the next train show. I'm going to start looking into the dates on it and see what I can find. And hopefully we'll be able to see one coming up here pretty soon, maybe the Texarkana area, and make a gander to go out there, or even Little Rock. I mean, Little Rock's not that far from where I live. Um, yeah, actually, it kind of is. Probably about a 3.5 hour drive, but hey, be all right. But we'll figure it out and just keep on going. As always, keep the shiny side up, rubber down. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. I will see y'all on the next video. I don't know, here shortly, because I've been kind of bouncing around some projects. We'll see y'all then. Take it easy.